Hey guys, I'm coming to you formally because what you're about to see is me talking about some things that are one, very triggering, two, extremely personal to my life, and three, just something that is very sensitive and, like I said, personal to me. So, yeah, I'm gonna share this story with you guys, and it's very important to me because a lot of things are like replaying in my life right now, and it's scary. And you'll understand what I'm saying once you guys listen to these other parts of the video, but I can only imagine my mother going through this with children. You know what I'm saying? I don't have children, thank God, but like I'm literally in danger at this moment because of false friends, false partners, false connections, or people who've come in my life as extremely karmic and false with false intentions or negative intention toward me. People come in and they pretend with their personality and they pretend with these illusions, and they're highly skilled manipulators. Guys, it's so much further than spiritual attack, like people just wishing over candles and gossiping about you. People are taking this to mental levels. People are taking this to such scary levels that I just want to talk about this, not for entertainment or just to put my life out there like this, y'all. It may be that for some people that's not my intention. It's because I'm disgusted by this. I don't want anyone else to ever have to go through this. My mother went through this. Women that I know have gone through this, and I just needed to stop as soon as possible. So I just feel that I'm being led to like ride for this cause, and I'll die on this hill that, this culture of manipulation and just like stalking and illusions and swapping destiny and like all of these very real spiritual and mentally abusive tactics. Y'all, it's feel free to speed this video up. You can speed the video up to hear me talking faster because it will be a little bit long. So feel free to put it on 0.25, 0.5, 0.75. Just speed it up if you need to. I appreciate anyone who is hearing this and supporting me. Please just send me lots of love and prayers, because there is lots of people who don't have my best interest at heart that will do anything to get me to stop sharing the information that I'm sharing. And this will be a separate video, but I did mention that I'm in danger at this moment, and this is why. So tune in to the next video that I have tagged so that you can see what's going on, and I'm gonna break down this next story, and it'll be kind of in real time, even though all this other stuff is kind of out of time. So just stay tuned, y'all. Hold on and just be with me. I love you guys. Peace. All right. Hey, gang. I'm making this video. I did not plan on making it. This is literally so impromptu. But this is very, 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 very important. This is probably the most important video I have ever made, will ever make. It's my reason for being here on Earth. It's my reason. Well, I won't say on Earth, but definitely. Okay, help me, Holy Spirit. Help me, Mom. All right, so I'm gonna try to hold it together when I'm making this video. And make sure I'm saying everything that I have to say. And this is going to include some screenshots, some clippets from another video. I'm going to try to hold it together, so give me strength. The reason that I live in California is because I moved away from my hometown in 2017. When people ask me why I moved here, I just say, I say a mixture of things. I say one or two things. I say either I moved here for work, or I tell one truth, which is I moved here because I got assaulted in 2017. Sexually assaulted by a dangerous person in my hometown, and I did not feel like I was being taken seriously or protected or anything like that. That's one of the reasons that I moved here. The other real reason, that is a very big reason as well, is because I felt unsafe in my hometown. I felt like all the friends that I had were false. I felt like all of the family that I had was false. And sadly, in my intuition, I thought, this feels like a curse. Like, this feels like, a unbroken cycle. Something about it just felt that way to me, because when I looked at my mother's life and my mother's mother's life, there was so many similarities to how they passed on and how they lived their life, except I'd say, I feel like my grandmother had a little bit more respect than my mother did, but it took her till she was an older woman to gain that respect. She kicked everybody out, as far as I know, as far as I'm concerned. It took her to that age to, get that way. Long story short, I'm going to keep this about, because my grandmother died when I was 9, guys. So I don't really, whatever. And anyways, okay, yeah, so my mother lived her life. She has several brothers and sisters, lots of sisters, because my grandmother had 13 children. My mom was like the 9th kid or the 9th daughter, or so, I forgot. I think she's the oldest out of my grandfather's children. She is the oldest out of my grandfather's children. But I'm saying all this to say that my mother lived her life in sorrow, misery, woe, okay? She was misunderstood from the moment she got here. Okay, she was treated weird. She was treated differently. I've heard different reasons. I think it was because she was very brown and pretty, and she had this like really wavy, pretty hair. And I'm not a colorist at all. I don't think wavy hair equals good hair at all. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like part of that bullying and ostracization, I don't know if that's a word, but part of that bullying and part of that, treating her poorly and treating her like an outsider and a scapegoat, was because she just looked different than all the other children, or most of the children that my grandmother had, because of my grandfather's genes. So with that being said, my mom, everybody used my mother. Okay, she was used to watch all the children, to do the children's hair, to look after everybody. She was very soft spoken until she wasn't, because she was a Sagittarius. So she'd be quiet until she couldn't take anymore. Then she'd flip, and then everybody would say she's crazy, she's this, she's that. But I'm saying all of this to say that my mother lived her till her very last breath in misery and woe. Okay, because since I was about 5 or 6 years old, she was like, okay, so I always saw my mother being used and abused by men. And when I say that, I mean she'd get a guy who she felt like, oh, he's big and bad enough to protect me, he's here at home with me, and all of these things. But she was really just attracting con artists, losers, my own father included, using her. Men who have given up on themselves, given up on their life, and figuring some shit out for themselves. And they used her for whatever she had. To keep her, they'd give her a baby, because she wasn't the kind of woman that would be kept too long before. Now, when I'm about 6 years old, y'all, stay with me. I was in kindergarten or first grade or something like that, and I was going to the school called Valley Park. Valley Park was in a county super far away from where I lived, which was in the city, St. Louis City. Valley Park was another, I'll look it up and I'll maybe drop some details here for reference. So I broke my arm at this time. I was a little kid. I broke my right arm because I was playing too rough on the outside equipment. And when I went to the hospital to get my arm wrapped, cast and everything, we were walking home, and I was at Cardinal Glen, and I will never forget this, y'all. Like I've told y'all before, my memory is since before I was even born, which is hard to believe, but it's true. So I was going to this hospital called Cardinal Glennon, which is a children's hospital in my hometown. And me and my mom didn't drive. It's not that she couldn't, she couldn't, but it's because she was afraid to drive. She was a very anxious, scared kind of individual, and she got that from our grandmother, her mother. Right? You're starting to see the lines connect, okay? The anxiety, the worry, the bad men, the babies, you're seeing the correlation, right? So anyways, me and my mother are walking to go home, to get on the bus to go home on Grand in St. Louis. We come across this man rather comes across us, and he stops my mom, flirts with her, blah blah blah. It took him a while to convince her to give us a ride home, but I think he gave us like a ride home or something. And I think he even like stopped by the store and got some Pampers for my little brother Kelton. My little brother, he has his own father. His father was also abusive, not just to my mother, but to me and my brothers, to his own son, my brother Kel. He used my mom for money. He lied to my brother about why he'd come visit us and why he wouldn't. Like, just so many lies, so much manipulation, so much abuse, y'all, okay, toward my mother, okay? Keep in mind, I am the only daughter that my mother has, and I have 3 brothers, 1 younger brother, Kel, 2 other brothers, Teron and Kenny, and me and Teron are the only siblings that have the same father. So my mom had 4 children, 3 fathers. Okay, so since that day that man picked us up from the hospital, my mom had been with him ever since. This man's name is Vernell Walker. Okay, Vernell Walker already had a son, but he also had other children. We're gonna get there because it took a while for him for my mom to bring his children around and blah blah blah. But long story short, my mom was with Vernell Walker until she took her last breath. He's literally the last person that she saw. He was the last person that she saw. Okay, one of the last people. I was home when she passed away, but I was upstairs in my room, in my bedroom, because I was taking a nap after school. Okay, stay with me, y'all. So saying that to say, today when I was at the doctor, you know, having a physical, I came across this reading from a reader that I look at often because I love that she deals with time. It's very logical spin on tarot to me, and it makes sense for me a lot of the time, especially when I'm going through something dark or negative or threatening to me. This lady always seems to get me right with her readings, okay? But this reading stood out to me because I've been having these dreams for the past few nights, and I haven't been able to connect to the dreams like I usually do, and I know why, okay? But we're gonna get there. Perhaps this a lot might have to, like, this is a lot. This is a lot right now, and I plan on writing books. I plan on doing all types of things that will allow us to go more into this story. And the reason this story is so important because there's so many facets of why it's important, not just to me, but to women, not just to women, but to Black women, not just to Black women, but to Black people, not just to Black people, but every fucking body in the world. Okay, so my mom died depressed, angry, aware that no one respected her, nobody loved her, nobody had her best interest at heart. Okay, I was probably the only person in her life that genuinely loved her, genuinely wanted better for her. But as her daughter, one of her youngest children, I was too young to know how to help her. I was too young to bring her back out of the slumber that she was put in for whatever reasons, for mental health reasons, for, you know, sorcery, whatever could have been done, manipulation. Okay, it's all sorcery. Manipulating someone, okay, is sorcery. People always want to say, oh, so-and-so is doing magic, that's so da. The only magic you'll catch me ever doing is the kind that God and my ancestors lead me to do, and that's protection magic. Yeah. For people trying to send you negativity and keep you in webs of lies and deceit, gossip, slander, stalking, taking people's documents, using documents for the wrong shit, taking people's inheritance, moving papers around. This is for my people that got big families, that live in the same city. Y'all go to the same doctor, Everybody go to the same clinic. Everybody go to the same doctor. You got that one family member that's always on top of everything, but really they're just in everybody's business, messing with everybody's documents, messing with everybody's stuff, slandering everyone. Lies here, lies there. They used to get my mom on the phone and have it, and other people on the phone. The phone is quiet. 1111 was just on the time. Y'all, my mother was bullied by her entire family and her own sons, at times even me, because I didn't know any better. Okay? And I just wanted my mom to respect herself. I wanted other people to respect her. There was certain people in my mom's life, my aunt Trina, my cousin Trina, shout out to you, Trina, who tried to get the same things for her that I wanted to get. You know, and it was always, I'm sorry for this noise, y'all. This is some BS. But homie, I'm gonna just move through the noise, y'all, because I really don't have time for this. Like, I don't have time to stop. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't even plan on making this video, so I'm literally doing my best. I'm just gonna project, okay? So I'm saying that to say that I feel like whatever was being done was very intentional with my mother. If any of you care, or if any of you can relate to this, please go check out this video. I don't care if you just click through it, listen to these snippets I'm gonna drop on this video because they are important. Y'all, please go the fuck away. Like, I feel like whatever that is outside is taking its fucking time to go away. Oh my God. Anyways, y'all, I swear to God, my neighborhood has been drop dead quiet pretty much. That's unlike my neighborhood. Right now is just the dumbest noise. But, you know, I'm gonna just keep on going. As I'm talking, I literally feel this weird feeling in my chest. Okay, there we go. All right, y'all. So my mother died of a massive heart attack. My grandmother, her mother, died of a massive heart attack. And they both were not the happiest before they died. A couple weeks before my mother died, she literally said, when I'm dead and gone, nobody's going to care about y'all. Nobody's going to take care of y'all, and y'all going to see. This was a decline that I noticed my mother had after she had learned that her man, Vernell Walker, was cheating on her their entire relationship. She knew it, but she didn't. I think she was just in denial. I think she was just very angry and upset. She didn't know how to move on. And I do really feel like him and his family was doing lots of manipulative things to get her to stay. Anytime she wanted to leave, he had an aunt that was, oh no, Netta, we love you, we love you. His family pretended to love her so much. But get this, after she died, Vernell Walker climbed into my bed. And before I get there, another reason my mom had a decline in her health before she died is because not only did she find out her man was cheating on her and with one of her friends, Shantae Farmer, okay, not just that, her best friend. I also took that opportunity when she found out about that. She had kicked him out of our house. She had made him leave. So he left, okay? He wasn't at our house for a while, and that was very unusual because if he ever left, it usually was never that long. And we never really knew what the hell was going on except they were fighting, so we could just put two and two together. At this time, I'm 16 years old, just turning 16 years old, okay? I took that opportunity to be like, yes, he's out of the house. I'm going to tell my mom everything so that he does not move back in this damn house. Like, I want her to dead this nigga. Finally, she's deading this nigga. Like, he's such a bum. He's such a con. I never liked him, but I accepted him as a father figure because my mom seemed to love him so much. I did not like him or his children. Okay? Man, Vernell Walker, you were the only one I could tolerate at some point because you were there at her funeral. You seem to care, you know, at times. But aside from that, okay, that's not the point here. All right, this is about my mother. It's about me, and it's about my family and my life. Okay, so mostly about my mother though, and this is for her. I'm riding for my mother until I die. Okay, period. And I will not take on any of her trauma or replay any of the trauma that's nipped in the bud, and that's why I'm even making this video. Okay, because I have 0 babies and 0 attachments to any dusty ass Negroes. Okay, period. So anyway, I told my mom, Mom, I'm not going to tell you this. And, whatever. I wanted to tell you this since I was about 6 or 7 years old. He was always in this energy with me of grooming me as his stepdaughter, grooming me. It started off as like these little touches and these little conversations that were private and secret and weird. And, it will always be something that I shouldn't share with someone else, or something that was supposed to be just between me and him. And that's how groomers work if you do your research. Okay. And I remember it started as young as when I was about 7, because we would have these movie nights where we would, buy a bunch of food, a bunch of snacks, and we would literally just sit in my mother's room or in our living room, and we just watch movies and movies and movies until we literally passed out where we sat, or, go in our rooms and go to sleep. But I, at some point, stopped wanting to do the movie nights. At some point, I stopped wanting to fall asleep where I sat, because one time when I was very small, about 7 years old, I fell asleep in my mom's bed with my stepdad and her. And this probably happened about four times throughout my whole life, probably 4 or 5 times throughout my whole life. And some of the memories have literally been blocked by my own brain for protection, because that's what the brain does when it is traumatized, right? So when I would fall asleep in their bed with them, he'd touch me, grab me, feel on me. And I'm not sure if my mom was aware of this or not, but I took this opportunity, a couple weeks before she died. No one knew she was dying. I just noticed her daughter, the only person in her life that noticed her decline. Maybe other people, I don't know. I'm talking about me though. I noticed her decline. She just got some new teeth, because that's another story. But when she got with him, she started losing weight, losing teeth, health declining, okay, losing hair. And he would make fun of her for some of her insecurities. And it was very manipulative. Sometimes he'd lift her up. Sometimes he'd literally make fun of her. And as a kid, even as a youth, I knew that it was something wrong with that. You're her man. Why are you putting her down? She has these insecurities. She stayed getting bullied by her family members. She has not the greatest friends. Okay, and she doesn't believe that she can change her life. Right? So with that being said, I told her these things, like, not only, has he been grooming me, like, he been like, just trying to get me. Like, one time I told her I was in middle school and I had just started. I was at a time, a lot of guys, I was starting to date because my mom was letting me go on like chaperone dates. And a lot of the guys I was seeing at the time had me crying in my room listening to Keyshia Cole, because I was a virgin and I didn't want to have sex. And all the guys were like, well, if you ain't trying to have sex, then I'm gonna have to go sleep with Lori, or sleep with Shantae's sister. I'm gonna have to go sleep with Shantae and Tina down the street. So I would cry my eyes out all the time because no one wanted to stay with me, because I was a virgin and didn't want to give it up. Okay. With that being said, around, like, I was in like middle school, I was probably 12 or 13 years old. My stepdad would always try to have these weird alone times with me. So he would take me to school or drop me off or ask me to ride with him to go do errands. And sometimes he would have very uncomfortable conversations with me. But this particular conversation, I just could not ignore how much of a red flag it was. It was a time him and my mom were fighting. I forgot why. I had just moved back into our condo, because we had just moved into this like condo on the north, like on the west side, kind of like, adjacent to the Central West End. We lived over there in that area. Very nice area, but was it's just like an old, the reason I'm talking about this is because it kind of matters, but it doesn't, right? So I'm gonna just get back to it. My apologies. We're sitting in the car. I'm in middle school, right? Virgin, blah. I'm talking to my stepdad. He's talking to me rather, and he had just bought me some food. I was just telling someone this, but he would always buy me Burger King, and I would just get the same thing every time because I didn't really like Burger King, which was a chicken sandwich. So anyways, I'm going in the house with my food. Like, I would try to hurry up and get in the house because I felt uncomfortable around him. And I knew that if he bought me food, he always wanted something extra after that to talk, or a secret for me to hold or something like that. And because I always had to compete for stuff and food and shit in the house with me and my brothers and my mom and my stepdad, I'm like, okay, if I could get myself a little special meal, I'm gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? But as a kid, I didn't know that I was being groomed or any of this was happening. I'm just thinking like, I'm literally the golden child. I get these straight A's. I do well in school. He just, buy me food because I'm his stepdaughter. Like, we would see people and he would be like, yeah, this is my daughter. This is my daughter. But this day, he says to me, he's like, you be having all those cramps when you on your period, right? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, like, you should lose your virginity. Like, if you have sex on your period, it would make your cramps feel better, or it'll make your period go faster, or something like that, he said to me. And when he said it to me, I was just like disgusted, because in my mind, I'm like, why the fuck is he worried about, why he worried about my period? And I wasn't that uncomfortable with the period thing, because him and my mom used to literally pick me up from school because my periods were so bad. They would have to bring me pads, and he would have to buy pads for me and stuff sometimes. And literally, I was on birth control before I even lost my virginity because my periods were so bad, okay? They would be super heavy, and I would have such terrible cramps. I would have to get picked up from school literally all the time. So that's why I used to, get food, all this extra shit sometimes. But anyways, so yeah, wasn't that uncomfortable about the period conversation, but the I should have sex to make it feel better conversation felt very, very, very inappropriate for me. I felt so weird about it. I didn't even tell my mom. I think I told my dad. And my dad, my dad in this equation is just like, it's kind of hard to place him here because, when I'm at my worst, I might say, he should have done more to protect me. But, I don't know if he did all he can. I've seen him punch guys in the face for dealing with me. I've seen him come toe to toe with my stepfather and challenge each other's role in our lives, and me being so confused about what was happening. I thought it was about my mom, but it was about the fact that I think my dad knew that this man was trying to have this position in our lives, and he was trying to have some type of weird relationship with his daughter. Okay, so long story short, I told my mom about the abuse. I kid you not, she did not say a word after I said that. She barely said a word up until she died because of that. At some point, she invited him back to come live with us, and our relationship changed. I looked at my mother 11:11 again on the time. I wanted to run away. I tried to commit suicide. I tried to stay away. I tried to stay home. Stay after school as much as I can. I tried to go over friends' house as much as I can. At this time, I was always going to my friend Cammy's house. Shout out to Cammy. Rest in peace to Makai. Because they always welcome me in. At some point, Montu was like, do you have somewhere to live, girl? Like, are you homeless? And I'm like, no, I have a home. I just don't want to go to it. Okay. And this was going on since I was in middle school. I was so depressed. I had insomnia. I didn't even know what insomnia was until I was up late watching Oprah or some shit. I learned about what binaural beats were when I was in like 6th grade because I had insomnia. And I was like trying to help myself. I was suffering silently, crying in my room, scared to come out of my room, scared to wear certain clothes outside of my room. Like, y'all, I'm trying to not get emotional at all about this, but I've had such a struggle because I've struggled with the fact that, okay, my dad isn't protecting me. My mom knows that this is going on and she's not doing anything. I felt like she was like selling me to him or like letting him have his way. Like, you know what I'm saying? And y'all, I'm still confused about it. I just think that she was just being like so, just ran into the ground damn near every fucking day, all day by her surroundings. And it killed her eventually. And I feel like there's so much more to the story. I feel like there's money and things that, before she died, she had a settlement because she hurt herself in a grocery store. And me and my brothers eventually got the money. It wasn't much. It was like maybe like $40 each, something crazy, something really small. It took us a long time to get the money from her lawyer. Her lawyers took most of the money because their services were super expensive. So all we got was a bottle of champagne and $40 each, me and my brothers. And that's not bad because somebody else wanted that money. Okay? And, after she died and my stepdad crawled into my bed, like, I accidentally told a cousin, and a cousin told the family, and the family pulled me out of school, and they pressed the charges. All right, y'all, my apologies. I'm going to cut this short because I have medicine being dropped off. Excuse me, y'all. My these eye boogers are, it's a thing that happens. Allergies, all kinds of things. So I should probably actually go get the medicine first so I can finish this without rushing. So give me a sec. All right, so I'm hoping this doesn't interfere with the seriousness of this video because, you know, I've been fasting because I had to get some blood drawn today and I'm just extremely hungry. So I'm probably gonna nibble on this while I'm talking to you guys. I'm gonna try not to though. All right. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. So, they pulled me out of school, they pressed charges. Long story short, all that love that Vernell's family had for my mom, for me, all that shit went out the window. I was public enemy number one in their eyes. Oh, he didn't do anything to you. You're this, you're that. Y'all, and that's when my life started to go down fucking hill because now I'm this out of control teenage girl who just wants to live in her mom's townhouse by herself so she can have boys over and throw parties and da-da-da. But here's the kicker. When my mother was alive, she let me have boys over. She let me go over boys' house, unattended, as a teenager. I didn't have an early curfew. I had just gotten a job at Six Flags. I was dating a guy I was hanging out with all the time, spending the nights, you know what I'm saying? Going to parties, throwing parties. I was free. I didn't have to sneak around. I didn't have to eject adults out of my life to do what I wanted to do because I already could. My mother was very lenient. She prided herself on being lenient with me. She prided herself on having a daughter that was a straight A student. Yeah, honor roll. Yeah, right? So with that being said, that was the start of my life just going to shit. I had to run away because everybody in my life, it was all becoming the same cycle my mother went through. Not being taken seriously, being disrespected by everybody around you. People taking pity on you, but allowing that to treat you like shit, you know? People coming and staying and wanting your money and wanting to use you. And over the couple years that I spent in St. Louis after she died, I left like sophomore year of college or something like that because of certain circumstances. But I started realizing at some point, like waking up after I was in like a sea of fucking depression, like after my mom died, I was in shock. Every single thing I did. Rest in peace to Messiah, but everything I did, being with Messiah, having him come live, throwing parties, all these things in our house, like that was from shock. That was to distract myself. I was taking shifts. Nobody was talking about the healthy things I was doing or things they would have deemed healthy. Taking double shifts at Six Flags. I got promoted so fast. After 2 months of working at Six Flags, I got promoted because I was taking double shifts. It would be so late at night and they'd be like, we need somebody to stay for another shift to help clean. My 16-year-old ass, I'll stay. Because I did not want to go home to the sadness, to the sorrow, to the depression. After my mom's funeral, my dad came to our house. I'm cleaning up, asking if he could come live with us. And because I was in shock and so scared for anything in my life to change, I said, Dad, I don't know if that's a good idea. It turned into it being this hollering, screaming match of my dad accusing me of having a relationship with my stepdad when really he was preying on me and I felt defenseless. I felt so emotional about it. Like it's like you're screaming into the void and you can't even find the right words and you know that you're not being heard or considered or taken seriously. This is my life. That's why I live here in California. That's why I disowned my whole entire...
Somebody is saying, I would rather... it could be so bad in somebody's household within this family dynamic that somebody could be saying, I would rather be homeless. I would rather be anywhere on this earth except for here. I would rather have nothing than to go back to this place. I feel like somebody could be saying that. We have crazy. Crazy is in the 4 o'clock position. 4 o'clock being Cancer energy. I'm also picking up, somebody is going crazy. Driving someone crazy. Driving someone too crazy. Someone is left to have to fend for themselves. Somebody could feel alone and attacked within a family setting. Somebody could be the targeted individual. I feel like a family attacks one person in this family. This person just keeps being attacked.